Okay, guys, first of all, welcome over here. And today, that is the topic we are going to talk about OSI model and TCP IP model. TCP IP model. So, what are the differences between the OSI model and the TCP IP model that we have, and how the structure of the data flow that we are going to uh, understand about the TCP/IP model and the OSI model. So let's start with the first of all the OSI model. What is this OSI model? What is this TCP/IP model? Why we need it? So just let me just do one more thing over there. First of all, let me just describe like before this model, what was the rule and like how we were sending the data and how we were receiving the data, what was the data flow that we had. Okay. So the first one that is before the TCP IP model, let me just write it down. Before TCP IP model or OSI model, TCP IP model or the OSI model, we were discussing like we had IBM models and the Apple model as well. Because of before the TCP IP model and OSI model, we were using the IBM devices and we were also using the Apple devices because of these are the very old technologies and like these will come in 90s. Okay, so and they have their own rules and like why we need this OSI model over here. So first one that is if I'm using the IBM devices, suppose that this is my organization, right? Suppose this is our HCL organization, and inside the HCL organization, what I was doing, like we have multiple PC, multiple routers, multiple switches over there, right? So, like, what are these basically? Like, these all are the devices is the IBM devices, right? And also we have one more branch also over here, and over on this branch, in this HCL branch, suppose that this is India location branch, okay, and that is US location branch. So what I was doing, like for the communication, I was I just need to send any kind of data from this PC. Suppose that any kind of video file or any kind of file that we need to send. So what we need to do, we have to send the particular IBM device to the IBM device because of if I'm using the IBM device and I'm going to use inside this HCL that is all the Apple devices, right? Whatever the switch we have, whatever the router we have, or whatever the PC that we have. Suppose that these are the Apple devices that I'm using. So in this case, they are not compatible with each other because of the Apple have their own rules, their own software, their own applications, and the IBM have their own rules and their own setups and all the things, right? So that's why we need the OSI model. Okay, that is why we need the OSI model. And who just generate the OSI model? That is DoD. That was Defense of Department. Defense of Department. Okay, so this defense of department is basically is generate this is generate the OSI model and the TCP IP model, and this model is compatible with each other. Means now we are using the OSI model and the TCP IP model devices, like whatever the devices that we are using, these are compatible with the OSI model and TCP IP model, the OSI model. So now we are able to communicate with each other, whatever the devices that we have, because of they all the devices is working with on the working on a one protocol that is a OSI model and the TCP IP model. So easily we can send the data over here and we can generate all kind of data from here. Okay, so this is the total information about the TCP/IP model, like why we need TCP/IP model and the the OSI model, right? Now, let me describe first of all the OSI model over here. So, the OSI model, that is we called Open System Interconnection Model. Open System Interconnection Model. Okay, this is a conceptual model, conceptual network, right? This is this is conceptual framework framework used to describe function of a network system. Used to describe used to describe the function of a network system of an network system. Okay, and the OSI model categorized the computing function into a universal set of rules and the requirement in order to support interoperability between the different products and the softwares. Means this is compatible with all the software, all the products, and all the kind of devices as well. Because of all the devices is going to follow this OSI model rule only, right? So that is why they are this OSI model is compatible with the all the devices. Now over here, let me just also write it down. The function of the some also function of the OSI model as well. That is developed by ISO. Developed by ISO. That is we called International Standard Organization. International Standard Organization. All right. And the OSI model describe what is the use of the OSI model. That is, OSI model describe how communication between network devices will take place. How communication between network devices will take place. Okay, hence how the communication has been done in our network devices or in our network. So with the help of multiple layers, with the help of multiple layers, right? And we have the 7 layers in that. Okay, now like this will help you to this model help you to troubleshoot your network, right? To troubleshoot your network. Okay, means if any communication is going to is going to stop in our network, so this OSI model will help you to troubleshoot our network with the help of these 7 layers. So what are the 7 layers that is we have? Let me also write it down over here. So the first layer that is we have physical layer. The second one that is we have data link layer. Third one that is we have network layer. And fourth one that is we have transport layer. Fifth one that is we have session layer. Sorry, we have session layer. And sixth one that is we have presentation, and last one that is application. Presentation layer. And the last one that is we have application layer. Okay. So this is the all the layers and all the information about the OSI model that is we have, right? Just do one thing, guys. Just write it down the basic informations about the OSI model, and after that, we will see the we will also talk about the types of layer, like what are the use of these layers, and what are the information that we have to follow inside the layers, right? So just write it down these things. Then we will talk about the layers, right? Like what are the functions of it and what how we can do this. Just write it down these. Okay, so now we are going to talk about like what are the functions of these layers, right? So let me write it down over here that the all the layers name over here. Then I will also describe the all the concepts regarding the layers. So the first layer that is we have application layer, right? And second layer that is we have presentation. Third layer session. Fourth layer that is transport. Fifth layer that is network. Okay, and data link, and the last one that is we have physical. Okay, so let's start over on the first of all the physical layer, right? Like what are the physical layer that is we have, and what are the information that we will have over on the physical layer. So this physical layer is made for the physical structure. This is made for the physical structure. Physical structure means the cable information, bit byte information. Let me write it down, such as let me also write down an example of it. That is coaxial cable, right? Fiber cable, okay? Wireless, okay? Hub, repeaters, okay? And the last one that is we have bit and byte. Okay, so these are the information that is we have over on the physical layer. Means all the physical information about the devices, about the cables, about the all the things that is we need to send our data. So these are the information that is we have on the physical layer. So let's talk about the data link layer. Like after the checking, these are the information by the physical layer. So it will transfer the data over on the data link layer. Now, what is the use of the data link layer? that will convert into the frames like the Ethernet frame that is we have also the triple P frame as well. Okay, we also have the switch, we also have the bridge. Okay, so these are the information that it's going to follow. Like after checking the bit byte convergence, like the data size and all the things regarding the physical layer, so it will convert into the frame, right? And after that, it will convert into the packet, right? And that should be going to be happen on the network layer, right? And what is the network layer is going to check all kind of IP address, MAC address, okay, and ICMP message, okay, IPsec, okay, and all the information that is we have regarding the IGMP protocol. Okay, so all kind of stuffs it's going to checked by the network layer, and after that it's going to forward the data. After that, this is going to forward this packet over on the transport layer, right? So the transport layer, what this will do, this will check the end-to-end connection, right? End-to-end connection means after finding out the IP address, MAC address, all the information that it's required by the network layer, it will check all the kind of stuff that is end-to-end connection. So inside the end-to-end connection that is we have TCP and UDP. Okay, so we will also talk about these things like what is the use of TCP, where we can use the UDP, and what are the TCP protocol, what are the UDP protocol that is we have. We will also talk about. Okay, after checking the end-to-end connection, this is going to forward the same information, the all the information that is getting from here. This is going to forward this information to the session layer, right? And the session, what is the use of the session layer? What this will do? This will check synchronization and the send to port, right? This will check the synchronization and the sender port. Means this will check and this will change. This will also check the synchronization packet, all the packet that is getting, and this will send to the port, right? And now, what are the ports that is we have, like all the information regarding the port that we have, the socket, what are the sockets that is we have, right? And whatever the things that is we have, let me also write it down. That is API, sockets, right? And WinSock. It is WinSock. So these are the things it's going to check. After that, it's going to forward the same information over on the presentation layer. So what this presentation layer will do, that will do syntax layer. This is called the syntax layer, right? Syntax layer. So inside the syntax layer, what are the kinds of information that's going to check? This is like this layer is used to identify the format of the data that is being transferred for the for the session layer, right? So this will check all the kind of this will identify all the kind of data that it's getting from the session layer, and what kind of information that it's going to see or it's going to check over there, like all the kind of port information and the protocol, that is SSL, SSH, okay, IMAP, okay, and this will check the all kind of FTP, This is also check the like what is the data, like this is the image file or any kind of file that is we have, right? JPG. So this will check the all kind of formats of the data that's getting from the session layer, right? And this will check the data information and data size, and then it will forward to the application layer. That is we call end user layer. That is we also call end user layer. Okay, so inside the end user layer, what are the information that it's going to follow? So like over on the application layer, this is basically made this application layer is made for the made is this application is made to define the services, right? Means whatever the services that I'm using over there or the software that was worked on the application layer, right? To identify the services and the services and the requesting and giving the information to the servers and all the things services, right? So what kind of services that it's going to check, like http, okay, https, okay, ftp, tftp, okay, and the telnet ssh. So all kind of information that it's going to check by the application layer, and the over on this application layer, the every user is connected on the application layer. Means whatever the information that if any application layer, if any layer have, so that layer is the application layer, right? So this is the total information about the OSI model, and this structure is going to follow on inside the OSI model, right? And we will also check like what is the use of the application layer and what are the services, what are the information that it's going to follow inside that, right? So just do one thing, write it down these things. Then we will talk about the particular layers, like what is the use of this layer, and inside the layer, what are the functions that we will get inside. Okay. So just write it down these things first, and then we will move to that part. Okay, so let's talk about the functions of the layers that is we have. Let me just erase down this one. And the first one that is we are going to talk about the application layer, right? So inside the application layer, what is that? This is made to define the service, define services. Okay, and the second point that is we have, this is uh, this is the software that was worked at the application layer to identify the services. Let me just write it down. The software that was worked that was works at application layer, that, that is works at the application layer to identify the services. Okay, so what kind of services that we have? So that is first one, that is we have web service. So inside the web service, what are the functions that we have inside this? That is HTTP, right? And HTTPS. TTPS. Now, if I'm talk about the another services, so that second service that it's going to check, that is file service, right? Also, we have remote service, Okay, and network application services, we also have that network application services. The last one, that is we have mail service. Okay, so let's talk about inside the file service, that is we have FTP and we have also TFTP, right? These are the services of the file services. Now, if I'm talking about remote services, so we have Telnet, we also have SSH, and network application services, if I'm talking about, so we have the DNS, DHCP, right? SNMP. So we have lots of services inside the application. So, and if I'm talking about the mail services, so we have POP, IMAP, and SMTP. So these are the mail services that is we have inside these. Now, the second layer that is we have, that is the presentation layer. So inside the presentation layer, what is that? Let me write it down. This layer is used to identify, this layer is used to identify the format of the data. The format of data. Okay. So what is the data size that we have, and like what kind of data that is we have. Okay. And format of the data being transferred using any application layer service. Using any application layer service, right? So what are the data that is we have? We also have the audio, we also have the video file as well, right? And we also have the image file, and we also have the text file as well, right? So if I'm talk about these things, so you guys also know that inside the audio file we have the MP3, we also have WAV, we also have AAC, right? If I'm talk about video, so inside the video that is we have MP4, MKV, right? AVI. So all kind of information that is we have. This is going to follow these things. If I'm talk about image files, so we have JPG, right? We have PNG, we have GIG, right? If I'm talk about text file, so inside the text file that is we have TXT, docs, right? So these are the files that is we have, right? And this is also this presentation layer is also used for the compression, decompression, and encryption, decryption. We also use these kind of stuff as well inside the. Let me also write it down. Compression. Let me just. So we also use this layer for the compression, decompression, right? Encryption, decryption, encryption, decryption, okay? And data encapsulation and decapsulation. Decapsulation and decapsulation. Okay, just write it down these things guys first. Okay, so let's talk about the third layer, that is the session layer, right? Let me erase it down. So, what is the use of this session layer that is we have? So, the connection between the client and server, what is the use of this session layer that is? This is a connection between client and server, right? Means between the client and server, if we have the connections, means all the connections information that it's going to manage by the session layer, right? And let me write it down to some more features about that. This layer is responsible. This layer is responsible for creating a session, for creating a session, okay, and maintain a session and terminating a session. Maintain a session and terminating a session. Okay, so this is made for these kind of stuff. And let me also write it on the some kind of more information inside that. So it also defines, how session needs to create, how session needs to create or to maintain these, or to maintain. This is done through, this is done through modes of communication. Modes of communication. Okay, so what are the modes of communication that is we have? Simplex, half duplex, and full duplex. Okay, so these are the parts of the session layer, right? So the fourth layer that is we have, that is transport layer. So inside the transport layer, what are the information that it's going to check? So this is used to provide, this layer is used to provide connectivity, right? This is used to provide connectivity. Now, it performs segmentation of the data. segmentation of the data. Okay, and the next point that is we have, it controls the rate of transmission. Rate of transmission. Transmission of data. Okay. Now it provides reliable delivery of data. It provides reliable delivery of data. Okay. Now, so what are the things that is we have the TCP and UDP. Okay. So now then next point that is we are going to talk about the TCP and the UDP and the differences also we are also going to talk about in between that. Okay, just write it down the session layer and the transport layer, and then we will move to this TCP and the UDP part, and after that, then we will discuss the next layer. Okay, so just write it on these things first. Okay, so let's discuss about the TCP and UDP, and also like I'm going to write it down all the TCP concepts and the UDP concepts over there. And also the all the protocols that is we have regarding the TCP protocol, UDP protocol. I'll also explain these things as well over here, right? So the first one that is we are going to talk about the TCP and UDP. Okay, so the first one that is we are going to talk about the differences and the users of the TCP and the UDP over here. So the first that is we have, this is the connection oriented protocol. Connection oriented protocol. Connection oriented protocol, and the UDP is our connectionless protocol, right? Now, I just wanted to give you the one more example for the connection oriented and the connectionless protocol. So the connectionless protocol, you can say the DHCP, right? With as you guys remember that we were doing the practical of the DHCP over there like before the 1 day ago. So but like the some guys face this problem like the DHCP server was unable to was unable to provide the automatic IP address to this PC, right? And in this case, what this is doing, this is going to provide the APIPA IP address range, right? So, like you can take example of it, the DHCP server. This is the connectionless protocol. Means sometimes I'll get the all the information regarding the DHCP, and sometimes I cannot, right? But if I'm talking about the connection oriented protocol, so connection oriented protocols means you can say that the three-way handshake, right? Did you guys remember that the one PC is going to send the synchronizing packet, and the another PC is going to sync plus act, sending the sync plus, and then another the sender is going to send the acknowledgement packet of it, right? So you can see that this is the three-way handshake is the most important part of the connection-oriented protocol, and the connectionless protocol that is we have the UDP connectionless protocol, right? Now, the second difference, if I'm talk about, this supports segmentation. It supports segmentation, right? And the UDP, what this will do, the segmentation is predefined predefined from application layer, right? Means this will also support the segmentation, but it's already predefined for the application layer. Means if I'm going to use this protocol, so only the application layer, only it supports the segmentation over on the application layer. But this TCP protocol supports the segmentation on the each layers. Okay. Now the third point that is we have, this is most secure and this is not secure. Because of why this is not secure? Because of inside the three-way handshake, we were getting the all kind of acknowledgement from the source and the destination, right? If anybody is sending any data from the source and the destination will give the reply. Means this is why this is more secure because of from every step, it's going to get the acknowledgement of the any kind of data, any kind of packet it's going to send, right? Suppose that this PC is going to send any kind of video file, so this PC will give the acknowledgement of it, the particular video file, right? But if I'm talking about the UDP, why this is not secure? If you remember, we were doing the DHCP configuration over here. So what was that? The DHCP server, sometimes the DHCP server is not able to provide the automatic IP address to the users. So that's why in this case that's why it's not it's this UDP is not secure, right? Now let me write it down one more thing over there inside that. The fourth point, that is we have acknowledgement, right? And this will do not have any kind of acknowledgement, means no acknowledgement. Now the fifth one, that is we have retransmission of lost data, right? Means as I was doing while windowing, as you guys remember that we were doing the windowing over there. So what was the windowing feature? Like if any data is not going to receive on the destination, so the destination is going to give the acknowledgement for the lost data, and this will give the acknowledgement of it, right? Now, over here, we have no retransmission. Okay, so these are the things that is we have between the UDP and the TCP protocol. Now, let's discuss the some kind of protocols. That is, we have the TCP protocol and the UDP protocol and the port number as well, right? That is protocol, and here is our port number. So I'm going to write down the protocol's name over here. That is, sorry, that is HTTP, HTTP, HTTPS, right? Sorry, let me just. So HTTP is used the port number of 80, right? And HTTPS, if I'm talking about HTTPS, so HTTPS supports port number 443, right? Telnet, so the Telnet supports port number that is 23, SSH 22, right? POP3, it supports the port number, what was that? 1110. Sorry, 110. IMAP, it supports the port number that is 143. SMTP, FTP. So FTP. Let me write it down over here. So the FTP have the two port number, that is 20 is used for the sender and 21 is used for the receiver. 21 is used for the receiver. Okay. Now just write it down these things. Then just first of all just complete that one. Then I'll do one thing. I'll just write it down the whole the protocol's name and the number over here on the top. Okay, just write it down these things and just port number and the protocol number as well. The each things over here.